Hell, we got to watch out for our jobs here. All episodes of FX's Welcome to Wrexham are streaming now on Hulu, and we're pleased to be joined now by Wrexham AFC co-chairman Rob McElhenney. Rob, thanks for joining us. Before we get to owning, a Welsh soccer club, what was that experience like? Just the idea of doing a top 10 for SportsCenter.
Oh, I mean, it truly was a dream come true for me. But what I wasn't aware of was that our production day was the day after we had shot a scene from another show that I do where they shaved my head. So as soon as I showed up on set, and I just never heard the end of it from Ryan, and rightfully so.
It's a clean look. I appreciate that. Regardless, and let's talk about right now the situation you guys are in. And when people talk about you as a star in 2 shows, a showrunner, and on top of that, you deciding you wanted to take the responsibility of owning a Welsh soccer club, what sparked that interest for you here?
Well, I'm a massive sports fan, and I've always wanted to own a franchise, own a club, own a team, or at least a part of it. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but it's a little bit cost prohibitive to buy an NFL team in today's market. So we just started. It was also because I learned about the English system, which just doesn't exist in American sports. The idea that you can be promoted from a lower league or demoted, relegated from a higher league, and that can start a precipitous fall all the way down into the lower leagues and almost kicked out of professional sports. And I thought, wow, if that can happen and you can go that far down, can't you potentially take a team from the bottom and go all the way up? And that kind of just fit into the ethos that I grew up with in Philly, and that's Rocky writ large.
What was it specifically about the city of Wrexham for you that drew you and co-chair Ryan Reynolds to North Wales?
Well, we wanted to find a club that had history, and Wrexham is the 3rd oldest football team in the world. They play in the oldest international football stadium in the world, which was built in 1802. And just from a historical perspective, it was just wild to think that we were playing in a stadium that was built during the Thomas Jefferson administration. But that was important to us. We wanted to find a club with history because we knew that would be the beating heart of that community, and we knew that was going to be an important part of the story.
Love the series. You go through the highs and lows with you guys, and you understand that you're all in. In watching this, though, Rob, the last episode of the season, a fan said, you guys are like them now. You have Wrexham under your skin. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. I think it's beyond that. It's coursing through our veins. We spend every Saturday morning riddled with anxiety, and my kids are always wondering, is Daddy going to be in a good mood this weekend or not? And usually that was on Sundays. That was just on Sunday afternoons that we had to navigate that. Now it starts, the games are at 7 a.m. LA time. So that really great mood can start on a Saturday morning. And this season, it's gone straight from Saturday all the way through to the end of Sunday.
And if people are wondering Sunday, we'll get to the Sunday conversation about our birds later here in this interview. But I also want to know the highs and lows emotionally. What's been the most rewarding part of this for you?
Well, one of the things that I was hoping would happen was that people who don't consider themselves football fans or even sporting fans would fall in love with this club and would fall in love with this town and would follow along. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The show seems to have hit a nerve. People are watching it on FX, they're watching it on Hulu, they're watching it on ESPN, and it's become sort of a global phenomenon based on the numbers that I'm seeing. And what we're seeing as it relates to Wrexham, our social media following went from, I think, 12,000 people to 1 million people over the course of the last 5 weeks. So people really seem to care and to have fallen in love with sports in the way that everybody and anybody who's watching this particular program, we already know why we love sports. But I think there are so many people out there that don't get it. And I hope that this was a way in.
If you want to follow also in real time here, Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, your Wrexham AFC club. How about playing an FAA 4th qualifying round match here? And it's going to be aired on both ESPN2 as well as ESPN+. What do you make of the idea that a sports team you own is going to play a match on ESPN?
It's stunning. This club has never been televised. We haven't been televised for the last 17 years before they were relegated out of this league. So to go from not having a television deal at all to being potentially in front of 100 million people across the world, is something that we don't take lightly, and we like to believe that this is just the beginning.
Okay, now you guys just barely, if people are watching, failed to earn that promotion to League Two last season. Club currently sits in second place on the National League table, just a point behind Notts County. Now, after last year's gut-wrenching experience, that 5-4 loss to Grimsby Town, how optimistic are you feeling about a promotion this season?
Very optimistic. I don't go into any endeavor assuming the worst. I think and truly believe with all my heart that we have the pieces in place to win the league and to win League Two next year and League One after that.
I love that. I love that energy, and let's keep that energy with this next question. Speaking of your team's great success, how about the teams we love as Philly natives, the Eagles, the NFL's last unbeaten team sitting at 5-0, and it's Cowboys week. You know what that means, Rob. What do you make of what you've seen from the Birds so far heading into Sunday night's game in South Philly?
You can't argue with undefeated. I mean, no notes. 5-0. Jalen looks incredible. The receiving core looks incredible. Defensive line just playing out of their heads. I think it's an exciting year. I mean, you know, in 2016, we were 4-1 at this point, right? So, and I don't think anybody even felt as positive as we feel right now. It does look like the NFC East is going to make it at least somewhat interesting, but that's what makes it fun.
Yes.
You know, I think halfway through the season, you don't want to be dominating everybody. I mean, maybe the Cowboys, but we'll see that on Sunday, I believe.
Okay. What I love about this entire series is you talk about community, right? Community with Wrexham. On the morning of Super Bowl 52, I hosted SportsCenter in this studio, left early to catch a flight to Minneapolis. You and I were both there at US Bank Stadium where the Birds took down Tom Brady and the Patriots. I'm not shy to admit I shed a tear or two. What do you remember most about your experience that day and that night?
I shed many a tear that night and that day, and I say this in the documentary. And when I was speaking to the fans at Wrexham, I told them that I believe that it was one of the greatest days of my life, and I truly believe that. I put it up there with the birth of my kids, my wedding day, because it wasn't just about what was happening down on that field. It was a shared communal experience with the millions of people that I grew up with. Who lived and died by the Eagles, and we got to experience that together for the first time, and it was incredible. And I will say that one of the best experiences was later that night. I was with DeVito and Caitlin and Charlie, and we were being shuttled because Danny was having a tough time navigating through the stadium, and so we were being shuttled down through the exit area, and Tom Brady comes walking out, having showered and gone through the press, and he's walking towards the bus. And Danny goes, "Oh, I'm going to go talk to him." And I was like, "Danny, do not talk to Tom Brady right now. Just sit down." And sure enough, Tom puts his head down, gets on the bus, and leaves. And I had the pleasure, I will say, of having dinner with Tom Brady maybe like 6 months ago. And I told him that story. And I said, you know, I saved you from talking to DeVito. And he goes, "I saw you guys." And as I was walking to the bus, I saw Danny come towards me, and I put my head down, hoping that he wouldn't come talk to me. So I think I did actually save him from a post-Super Bowl gaffe.
One final question. My co-host, El Duncan, a diehard Braves fan, so all eyes are on this NLDS with Game 3 tomorrow night. How are we feeling about this series?
I feel great. I mean, all we needed was one. One in Atlanta. We got that. Obviously, a pitcher's duel last night, which was a bit of a bummer. But, hey, they're one of the best teams in baseball, so we don't want to embarrass them on their home field. We can't take all 4 games right in a row. I say we'll take it back in Philly,
Well said.
but I'd rather win at home anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. You got the next 2 in Philadelphia. Well said, Rob. Well said.
Thank you.
Once again, you can catch every episode of FX's Welcome to Wrexham streaming right here and right now on Hulu. Rob, hey, good luck on Saturday. Thanks for joining us. And good luck Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Big weekend for everybody.
Big sports weekend in Philly and all over the world.
All episodes of FX's Welcome to Wrexham are streaming now on Hulu and ESPN2, and ESPN Plus will air Wrexham's FA Cup 4th qualifying round match on Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.